Hi, welcome back on Iron Self Talk with Dr. Akram. Today we're talking about intellectual disability. This is an important subject. So far we have looked how it comes, what is it called, a little bit of history. Now we're going to go more into detail with our expert in the field, Dr. Parveen Sharma, who is a consultant psychiatrist, and our special guest Marlon. He is really interested in the program as well. Marlon, you wanted to ask some questions, isn't it, from...
Yeah, so obviously you must deal with a lot of children with intellectual disabilities, and how do you cope with their behaviours? Because obviously they must be different to a...
So you're telling about challenging behaviour, is that right?
So how would you deal with like the behaviour that they exhibit, and what would you recommend on how to deal with this kind of behaviour?
Marlon, for bringing the challenging behavior issue into the program. First of all, I personally don't work with children. I'm a consultant psychiatrist for adult people, so I work with people 18 years and above. Challenging behavior is an important issue for people with intellectual disability. First of all, before talking about challenging behavior, I just want to say in general that what we understand about behavior, what is a behavior? So when someone is behaving something, what do we mean by that? So basically this person is trying to communicate something, right? Through that behavior. So this is the main thing we have to understand and keep in mind when dealing with someone showing behaviors that the carers or other people can find challenging for themselves.
What we see as a challenging is the way they try to communicate. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So
we
have to understand it's not they are wrong, that we probably don't understand what they're trying to say.
Yes, it's a part of it. We're not saying that this is acceptable or we have to accept or agree with the challenging behavior. All I'm saying is we have to understand why the behavior is there, what is there really. And we have to keep in mind that any root cause for any behavior is a communication. Just imagine I am behaving in a certain way. It means that I'm trying to communicate something with you. This is the same with challenging behavior with people with intellectual disability. So when we talk about challenging behavior and understanding about challenging behavior, we need to know what is causing challenging behavior or what is causing them to behave in a certain way that the carers or other people are finding challenging. Okay?
Before that, do you have any examples of this challenging behavior? How do they behave? Is something to make it clear?
It could be ranges from any self-injurious behavior. Someone is hitting themselves, like hitting their own head or hitting the tummy, from someone being aggressive to other people, shouting, swearing. It could vary.
Vary. Oh, that explains. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So, as I was saying, that we have to keep in mind that there must be something going on that this person is trying to communicate. So what could be the causes, or what could be that they are trying to communicate? I probably already told you that these people with intellectual disability can have varied problem in language and communications. Some people may talk like you and I. Some people may just have few languages. Some people has got no languages whatsoever. Some people can just use sign languages. So depending on the communication that they can do, the challenging behavior varies really, what they are doing, what they are trying to communicate. So basically we have to keep in mind the most common causes of challenging behavior. Just imagine you are having a tummy pain, yes? And you need something to help yourself, maybe a medication or someone to just acknowledge that you're having a tummy pain. But someone with no language, how would they show you? Maybe if they're in a very good mood, they maybe show you their tummy. Or if they're really in pain and really struggling to communicate that, they just may start hitting their own tummy. Yes? So this could be
that's quite interesting. Yeah,
that could come up as a challenging behavior. Okay, so this person is doing something, causing some self-injurious behavior, really. But it could be as simple as pain. And pain is actually a very common cause of challenging behavior. So we have to talk about the most common causes, and physical health causes are most common causes. Just think about you and I. If we are having a bad day because we are having headache or tummy ache or we're feeling feverish, we don't feel well, we don't feel good in our mood, we don't feel like talking to someone. It's just same with them. It's just that they cannot communicate. They can't really tell you, sorry, I'm having a headache, and sorry, I can't really talk to you, and I can't really sort of take all the noises that's happening around me. Yeah. So they will start maybe hitting their own head or showing some aggressive behaviors to others. Yeah.
So most probably these sign language, what they're trying to say, we as normal people, we see them as challenging behaviors. All right.
Yes, it is not as simple as that. It is part of that. Sometimes if they are too agitated from these causes, they can actually show continuous challenging behavior. It could be continuous aggression to others, and that's when we do have to do this investigation.
So people close to them, like carers and like families, mothers, will they be able to identify with time?
They usually know. They usually try to identify the things, because, and as professionals, we need to probe them, we need to ask them. Because, for example, constipation is a very common cause of challenging behavior in people with intellectual disability. And when you get someone, you do ask the question that, did this person open their bowel? When was the last time this person opened their bowel? Because just imagine, constipation is a very common cause.
Yeah, Marlon, you wanted to ask something. Sorry, I'm interrupting you because we're running out of a little bit of time, and I want to cover through the subject as well. Marlon, you wanted to ask something specifically about the issue.
It's a little off topic from the challenging behaviours.
Yeah.
However, I have seen there is a genetic testing before conceiving the child. Would you agree this is a good idea for parents, and do you think that it should be more? They should talk about it more. They should talk about more about genetic testing before conceiving a child, and sort of promote it.
Well, this is something we get anyway. When someone is pregnant, they get an anomaly scan, and if there's any problems in anomalies, that is followed by the amniocentesis. If there is any genetic disorder in the family, yes, why not? If there is a known genetic disorder, someone can ask for a genetic testing.
So, but we don't do it routinely for every couple.
We don't do it routinely, no.
But if they would like to have, they can always can have, or
they can ask for it. They can discuss with their doctors, their GPs.
They can ask with the GP. That's good. Next one is it. What about its parents, and they're feeling about a bit of guilt, like why they produce, or what is it that they are wrong for this child, and what's happening with this their son or daughter. What do you think about this?
Well, this is a very sensitive issue, and this is a very sensitive topic. Parents of children with intellectual disability, they go through all sorts of emotion throughout their life. It could be guilt, it could be denial, all sorts of emotions and emotional processes. All I have to say for the parents is, please don't suffer in silence. Please go and seek help. Please to your doctor. Please talk to your GP. There are counseling services. Go and talk to them. There are groups around them with the similar sort of disorders. Try to incorporate yourself into the group. You will feel that you are not alone. If you feel that you are at the end of your sort of coping, please go and ask for help. It is not easy having a disabled child, looking after a disabled child, but we are quite blessed to be in a country that that you can actually ask for help. It is usually picked up. Whenever it is picked up, help is usually offered. So all I have to say to you is, please don't suffer in silence. please go and
go and
seek
get
help.
it. But as we said in my introduction, I think it's only 5% of this disability is caused by like carried by from parents, isn't it? It's not big amount. It's
No.
yeah, mostly unknown.
And then even if someone has got a genetic disorder, it doesn't mean that it is your fault.
Okay, what kind of help these people get? Anyway, families.
You mean the people with intellectual disabilities?
And the parents. So let's talk about both together. Like.
Okay, as I said, the parents can get counseling. They can get carers assessment. Usually, the local social services would be involved with a disabled child because the family and carers need a lot of help and support, and the social services usually offer them help and support around the need. I always want to mention that every individual child is different. Their needs are different, and the support the family and the individual need would be different, so it would be very bespoke for them.
What about for the individuals who has been diagnosed as intellectual disability? What kind of help they get in the society or different schools?
Yes, so they would be needing help in the education and at home as well. Sometimes parents are happy to care for their children, and if they need support, they can ask for support. At school, there are usually SENCO or special education needs coordinators. If the disability is mild and if the person can go to a mainstream school, it is usually identified and a SENCO would be there to help them. For the severe disability, the disabled person usually go into special needs schools.
We go to special needs schools.
These are special needs schools. Special needs schools are there. There would be carers if needed outside the schools as well to support the families. There are residential schools there are residential special needs schools. And as I said, these people usually need help and support throughout. So when they turn into adults, it needs to be assessed again. Their needs will be changed. It has to be, because there is no sort of set criteria. It would have to be need-based. It has to be the support system and the support the person receives has to be need-based.
It is exactly as we said. The spectrum is big, isn't it? From
absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I think Marlon, you were asking me like children with like if you had a colleague in your school or something like that, people who had intellectual disability, will they be given extra time to finish the exams? Isn't it? You're asking about?
Yeah, I was asking if they were given extra time or any special privileges.
Yeah.
They should be given extra time, because that's the whole point, that they get the support that they need. If someone has got a disability, if the SENCO is involved, because some people with intellectual disability can have dyslexia or dyspraxia, they can have the assistant to help them with their education. So the whole point is to support them and get them to basically to achieve them, for them to achieve as much as they can achieve, really. To have them to achieve their maximum potential. That is the aim.
That's a quite interesting thing, isn't it? Because especially in this society in England, in developed countries, they understand their need and they give them extra time, while other students who are normal, they have the normal time. But especially in developing countries, they don't get much help with this. Because if they have any problem with this learning, they're being pushed away and away, and after that they also feel inferior, and maybe they drop their studies.
Yeah, that is why it is important to identify that there is a problem, to acknowledge that. So you can only support a problem if you can acknowledge it as a problem.
Yeah. Okay, let's see, are there any medication, treatments? Is it curable?
Yes, unfortunately it is not curable. It is a lifelong condition. But there are comorbidities, or there are other physical and mental health conditions that can come come along with intellectual disability, I can very quickly say that people with intellectual disability suffer mental illness much higher rate than the normal population. I can
What do
think
you
about the
mean by,
statistics
sorry,
that
just want to interrupt you, ask you, what do you mean by mental, what do they suffer again, sorry?
mental health problem.
Mental health problem. What kind of
illness.
mental health problem on top of what they have?
Yes, just like anything like you and me that we can suffer as people without intellectual disability. They can suffer from anxiety, depression,
Anxiety,
bipolar
depression,
disorder,
things like that, yeah.
schizophrenia. Any mental health condition can actually affect them. And unfortunately, for various reasons, that some known and unknown reasons, that people with intellectual disability end up suffering in mental health condition even higher. I was about to tell you about statistics that people with intellectual disability suffer from schizophrenia or psychotic illness 3 times more than the generic population.
3 times more than the
3
general
times
population.
more. Anxiety is extremely common in people with intellectual disability. It could be because of the abnormality of brain, that is a biological cause. It could be what they suffer in the community throughout their development, any neglect or abuse, trauma, bereavement, attachment problem.
Attachment problem.
So anything can actually cause and give rise to mental health issues in the people with intellectual disability. So your question was, can we treat intellectual disability? No, we cannot treat intellectual disability per se, but we can treat the mental health problem. We can treat the physical health issues that they're suffering from. We can give someone painkillers. We can give someone laxatives for their constipation. We can treat someone's epilepsy. Again, epilepsy is extremely common with people with intellectual disability. We didn't get to talk about all the causes about challenging behaviors. As mental health causes mental causes make a big chunk of causes for intellectual disability, because someone, when they're depressed, they can't tell you that they're depressed. Or if someone is having actually hallucinations, it is very difficult to diagnose them with all these conditions as well.
That's true, isn't it? Because they get frustrated as well. They can't express themselves. They want to say, they can't say in normal language, and they see people having a normal life and they can't have it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think it's when we care them more, when we are more close to them, they possibly they feel much better, aren't they?
Yeah, like all of us, if we are cared for, if other people understand us, if we feel that we are being listened to, we all feel good, and there is no difference in people.
Exactly. I've seen a big spectrum. You know, I've seen in especially in families and friends and children with mental disabilities and all these things. Children are well treated. They behave much better than the children who are marginally treated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Marlon, anything else? What do you like to ask? Do you have any special questions for us?
I was just going to ask that. You said earlier about their behaviour, and that it's because of they don't know how to convey how they're actually feeling. So would you say to someone who doesn't understand this that they're not trying to cause any trouble, they're just trying to convey how they feel, instead of, like, because people may think that, oh, he's just trying to cause trouble, but they're actually just trying to convey how they feel at that moment in time? Would you say it's like that, instead of them actually not understanding?
Yeah, I think the best approach is we shouldn't be judgmental in any situation. Being non-judgmental is the best way. If someone is behaving in a certain way, try to understand. Obviously, be safe, keep safe yourself, but as much as possible, try to understand why the person is behaving in a way that they're behaving really.
So, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So do you think there should be more awareness of this, and it should be taught
Absolutely.
in schools?
There should be more awareness of people with intellectual disability and with all the other comorbidities that may come with intellectual disability. And I'm taking this opportunity, this program, as a platform to sort of advocate for people with intellectual disability, being a professional working for the people with intellectual disability. we have to be compassionate, we have to be caring, and we have to try to understand their disabilities, and we have to be absolutely non-judgmental.
That's true. Quickly, are there any special courses or classes for the carers or parents who are dealing with this children?
Well, it depends. It depends on the locality. The best thing would be to search with your local council or the social services team. They usually have groups and educational sort of courses. So it varies from locality to locality. So your local council. There are some charities that they work very closely with people with intellectual disability. MenCap is the biggest one. MenCap is a huge charity that works with people with intellectual disability, and the other one is Mind. There's a Mind charity who usually work for people with mental illness. They have got their intellectual disability section as well. There is another one. It's called BUILD, British Institute of Learning Disability.
Excellent.
So these are the charities, and they have got loads of information on their websites. If you are caring for someone with intellectual disability, I would recommend that go to these websites, try to understand the person, and try to understand the difficulties. And please go and seek help. Don't suffer in silence.
Thank you very much, Dr. Parveen Sharma. It is Dr. Shama Parveen, sorry. It was amazing to have you here. And I just want to announce something, because next week we're going to meet at same time. We're going to talk about autism and ADHD, isn't it? So I want to tell the viewers to be ready with their questions, and you could send your question to our email, that's healthtalk@intv.co.uk, or you could send a message in our Facebook link, or you can always call us as when we put the number on. So please be ready for the next program. That's going to be ADHD and autism with Dr. Shama Parveen. And I think we're going to coming to the end of the show. Do you like to say a quick message for about intellectual disability before we wrap up the show?
Yes, I'd like to thank you for having me on your show. It's been a pleasure being on your show. I just quickly want to tell you, if you're seeing someone struggling, please give yourself some time to understand that person. For example, if you're working on a supermarket till, if someone comes and if you feel that someone is with a carer or this person is struggling, please give themselves a bit longer time. Because of their problems, they need a bit longer time to process whatever is happening around them. They need a bit longer time to process the language.
That's good.
So please give them a bit longer time to and try to understand them. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And Marlon, do you like to say something, a few words?
I was going to say thank you. This has been very informing for me, because I actually did not know about the behaviour, but I do know that now, and I will try to advocate it more to my classmates. So thank you very much.
Marlon, it's a pleasure to having you here, and Dr. Shama Parveen, and it's amazing. We had a great time, and we talked a lot. We covered most of it, but still our viewers can contact us through our email, or they could contact in our Facebook link, and we will see you in an amazing program next week. Until then, I'm going to thank everyone in the show and everyone who is watching us, and all for your questions and calls. We'll see you in the next program. Until then, look after yourselves. Goodbye.